Hi, welcome to question 1 from the final exam prep. So in this question, we're given a graph and we're interested in finding the topological order for the graph. So the big idea is to run an algorithm. The algorithm is mainly DFS. And so we want to run this DFS on an arbitrary unvisited node. And then the order of the nodes as they're popped off from the stack is going to equal the reverse topological order. And by repeat if needed, I mean that you might have to run DFS more than once on a graph to see what this might look like. We'll see a demo in just a bit, but for now, let's actually look at this graph and run through the algorithm. So let's just say that we're going to start at A. Okay, and I'm going to color code the vertices that we visit with green once we pop them off from the stack. So the moment we pop off a node from the stack, that's when we know that we've completely visited that node, right? So first, we're going to put A onto the stack, and then we're going to put either B or D. But in this case, let's say that we break the tie alphabetically. So whichever comes first in the alphabet, we're going to visit first. And so between B and D, we're going to visit B next. And then from B, we can still go down to C, okay? And once we're at C, we hit a dead end. There's nowhere to go. And so that means we need to backtrack. By backtracking, I mean we need to pop off C from our stack and be back at the place we were before, which is B. Okay, so once we pop off C, we put it at the very end of our topological order, because remember, we're looking at the reverse. And then we have to color code it as green, because now we've completely visited C. We're not going to visit it anymore. We can't. Okay, so now that we're back at B, let's see what other paths there are from B that we haven't explored yet. So we can still visit E, and from E we can visit G, okay? But from G, we can't visit C because we've already visited C. So now we've hit a dead end at G. Okay, so we do the same thing. We pop off G from our stack, we put it here, and then we color it green because we've visited it. Then we pop off E from our stack, and the reason we also pop off E is because from E, the only route forward is to G, right? There's no other paths that we haven't explored that lead out from E. So we put E here, and then we also color it green as visited. Okay, so now we're back at B. Now let's consider if there are any other paths from B that we haven't explored yet. There isn't. There are only these two paths, this and this. So we're completely done with B, so we can pop it off from our stack and also say that we've completely visited it. And so now we're back at A. What is a path that we haven't explored from A? We haven't explored the path that leads down to D. So let's put that. We have D, and then from D we can visit F. Okay, and from F we can visit G, but remember we actually can't because G has already been visited. And so we're going to now start popping off, backtracking. So we put F here, we color it green. We also pop off D because all of its other paths lead to nodes that have already been visited. Okay, and then color it green as well. Now we're back at A. We see if there are any other unexplored paths from A. There isn't, and so we need to pop off A as well. And since there's no node in our stack anymore, that means that DFS is done. And now this is our topological order, A, D, F, B, E, G, C. And actually, if you want to see what this would look like in terms of a graph where the nodes are lined up linearly in their topological order, this is what it would look like. Now notice that a key characteristic of a topological ordering is that all edges, once the nodes are aligned in this way, all edges point forward. There are no edges that go backwards, right? And so this is characteristic of DAGs. DAGs are directed acyclic graphs. Okay. And now let's see the example that I mentioned earlier, where we might have to run DFS multiple times. So here we ran it once when we started at A, but what if we started at B, right? If we started at B, let me just copy this graph and let's try rerunning the algorithm by starting at B this time. So if I start here, okay, and then I redraw my stack. So same thing. I start at B, so I put B on my stack. And then I can either go to C or E, but again, I break the tie alphabetically, so let me go to C first. And then from C, I hit a dead end. Okay, so that means that I need to pop off C from my stack, put it at the end of my topological order, and color it green. Okay, and now from B, I have one more path that I haven't explored, which is this path, right? So I need to put E, and then I need to put G. At G, I hit a dead end, and so now I need to start popping off. This means that I put G here, I color it green, and similarly for E. Okay, now I'm back at B, where I started. Is there any other path from B that I haven't explored? No, all paths from B have been explored. So that means that the reason I still have unvisited vertices in my graph is because these vertices A, D, and F are unreachable from B. B doesn't have a path to them. This is a directed graph, and so it's possible that although you can reach from A to B, it's not possible to reach from B to A, right? Because it's a directed graph. It can only go in one way. So it is possible to have these opposite situations. And so I need to pop off B from my stack, okay, because I've completely visited everything that I can from B. And I need to run DFS again. And this time, I can again start at any arbitrary unvisited node, right? This is exactly what I wrote down here, run DFS on an arbitrary unvisited node. So I could run it on A or D or F. Let's actually try running it on F. Okay, so let me just denote this as the first start point and this as the second start point. Okay, so if I run it on F, okay, I put F on my stack. Is there anything else I can put? No, right? F only has one path, and it leads to a visited node, which I don't care about, and so I'm actually done with my DFS. I have nowhere to go, so I need to pop off F, put it here, and then color it green. Okay, so now I need to run DFS another time because I still have unvisited nodes in my graph. And so let's say that I'm going to start my third run of DFS at D. So I put D on my stack. Is there anywhere I can get to from D that I haven't already visited? No. So I need to pop off D from my stack, put it here, and mark it visited. I still have an unvisited node, and so I need to run DFS one last time, put A on the stack. Notice that everything going out from A has already been visited, so pop off A, and then color it green. So this is my topological ordering. And notice, A, D, F, B, E, G, C is exactly the same as what we had before, A, D, F, B, E, G, C. So we reached the same topological order. This algorithm works where, despite starting at different places in the graph, right? Even if you started at A or if you started at G, it doesn't really matter. You just start at an arbitrary unvisited node. And depending on whether you have any unvisited vertices after your first run of DFS, you may need to repeat running DFS multiple times to make sure that at the end, all your nodes in the graph are visited.